Hey everybody, this is Jen. Welcome to the homestead and welcome to the channel. So this is a video that's been a while now since I made my last one. We got a lot of stuff going on between the pollution from the fires in Canada and over on the west coast of the United States, and just a lack of rain until just recently, and things like that. I haven't been able to get outside much. The pollution makes me, like a lot of other people with chronic health conditions, very sick. So I haven't had the energy to come out and actually shoot a video. So here I am today, still not quite 100%, but hey, doing what I can. I wanted to share some things with you that I'm learning along this gardening journey, as we call it here. So let me show you what all that stuff is right here on Garden Jen's Journey. Alright, so we're going to enter into our older garden plot area, and there's some things I've learned along the way. This area here, I always grow some interesting things up on this old fence. It used to be a chicken run here about 7 or 8 years ago, and this is the one remaining tall fence. So this year I have cucamelons growing up along the fence. Like I said, it's just some interesting crop that I decided to grow. So they're tiny little things, but they're finally starting to grow. So I'll show you how they look later on in this season. Okay, so if you've been following me along for any length of time in the past year or so, even within just past months, I've kindly referred to this as my jungle. This area is completely overgrown, basically. This is what happens when your soil is bare and you go away for a week or two at a time, and then you get some freak rainstorms. So this has become overgrown with quite a few different weeds, as they call them. Some are indeed weeds. Some are just native plants to the area that, you know, pristine gardeners don't really enjoy in their gardens. But I have learned to accept this as what it is, with my health situation. And like I said, the pollution we're dealing with and things, I cannot be out in the garden very long pulling all these weeds, and this is a big job. And by the time you get one area weeded and you start on another one, the area that you just weeded looks like this again within just a couple of days. So I have taken a step back and said, you know what, we're just going to let things be. I have my little path through here. You can kind of see where I've been walking. And then I pull out the weeds that are highly invasive and detrimental to the garden and to the environment, like the black bindweed, which is over here on this fence. And if you haven't heard me speak about this nasty weed before, it gets its name very well. This vine, it kind of looks like a morning glory to some people who aren't familiar with it, but it binds things up. It strangles things, and it's highly invasive. So we try to pull that out as much as possible. You can see I've left it here along the fence line because it's really hard to get out at the bottom of the fence there. But it also is a trap crop, so to speak. Let me see if I can show you what's on here. It's warm, so they might fly away. Can you see them? Japanese beetles. So Japanese beetles love the black bindweed. So so I pick my battles. I try to pull as much of the black bindweed out as I can. I try not to let it flower. Again, you hear me saying try, because Like I said, with my health battles and stuff, I have to pick my battles, and sometimes my health outweighs the garden. So it is what it is. But you can see I have an elderberry growing at where it's not supposed to. It's not supposed to be there. We'll try to pull it out again later in the fall. But I have some sunflowers growing. I have lots and lots of lamb's quarter. Lamb's quarter is highly invasive. But the thing about lamb's quarter is you can eat it. So, and then we have, this is common primrose. It's really, really pretty. This was just a weed we let grow because we identified it as a common primrose. And it's really, really pretty. But it also is a trap crop. You can see how much damage is done to it. This is all from our friendly little beetle bugs. So I've been coming out almost every day, or at least in the evening, and using the soapy water bucket method. Wow, that's hard to say. Of trying to control the Japanese beetles. And it's working. It's taken me almost a week, but the numbers are going down. I think it's almost the end of the season for them coming out of the ground, so to speak. So we're just trying to keep them off the plants. But this one is another trap crop. So it for a while held most of the Japanese beetles. I'll show you another plant that did as well. And then they finally decided to invade my actual plants that I was growing on purpose in the garden. Another surprise today is my bee balm is sprouting, or not sprouting, is flowering. It's really, really pretty when it flowers. Okay, so take a walk through here. One of the things that maybe you can appreciate, if you don't think of this as a garden, you know, one that you actually grow things and to eat, or maybe to enjoy like flowers. This right here is actually the flower of the wild lettuce. You see how many wild lettuce flowers I got going on? Wild lettuce is also invasive, but you can eat it, so hey. But if you look at this, you know, take a step back, take your gardening glasses off. What else do you see here? It's kind of hard to see in the sunlight, and I'm sorry if there's a glare right now. But this is something I've been working on in this area for the past 5 years. Really working on it. And that is creating a mini ecosystem. I've been trying to create an environment that the birds, the bees, the good bugs and such, little critters like snakes and little things that like to creepy crawly in the grass, that they love to come and enjoy and be happy in. And I have that environment right now. There'll be plenty of times I'll be walking down my little path here. Like I said, you can barely see it because of all the overgrowth. But there'll be plenty of times I'll be walking through here. And I don't usually walk very fast unless I'm in a hurry to get to my greenhouse, which is buried over there. But I will flush out birds, sometimes some snakes. And I know not everybody can appreciate snakes. But here in Michigan, we generally only have one poisonous snake, and that is the Michigan rattler. And we've only had that snake one time on our property. And if you walk slowly, the rattlers do give you warning that, hey, I'm over here, leave me alone. But otherwise, we have gardener snakes, we have milk snakes, all sorts of snakes, and they're actually good for the environment because they eat the things that eat our plants. So snakes are a good thing. But look at all this borage. I did not plant this, well, at least this year. This is all self-seeded from when I had it in previous years. So borage can become invasive because look at all the flower heads. And all the flower heads have seeds on them. But this is a very good plant to have in the garden. I don't know if you can see how many bumblebees are just enjoying the borage. Lots and lots of bumblebees. It's a very good plant to have in the garden. The dill I did not plant. The sunflowers I did not plant. Alright, so here is another trap crop that I did not plant. This is another weed. It's hard to tell what this is because of the devastation that the Japanese beetles have done to it. See our wonderful Japanese beetle friend there. There's some more on this one. But this is lady's thumb. And you can see the pretty little tiny flowers it puts out. But this is another trap crop for our Japanese beetle friends. Got quite a few on them this morning. So yeah, this has been left alone because like I said, at first when I was trying to control the Japanese beetle population, they were all on these weeds and not on my actual crops. So that's where I started with, was just leaving these weeds alone, letting the Japanese beetles just hang out here until I could collect them, of course. But these guys serve a purpose. And some of the smaller bees, there's one here. I don't know if you can see it or not because it's very tiny. There's a tansy wasp right there. Very, very tiny little pollinator friend. So some of these smaller plants are great for our tiny pollinator friends. Back up there, look how huge my elderberry bush has gotten. Huge, huge, huge. So the Japanese beetles have found the elderberry bush, and of course another thing that's in the elderberry bush, you might be able to see it if you got some good eyes, is my grapevine. It's poking out through there. So the Japanese beetles have moved over there and started trying to devastate those two plants. But the damage has been minimal compared to previous years because, again, I've had these weeds as trap crops, and so I've been able to try to get rid of the beetles before they all venture over there. I do have some damage, but again, it's been minimal compared to previous years. So this is my birdhouse squash. It's running a little behind, but looky here. This was a pleasant surprise this morning. That is a birdhouse gourd starting to grow on our vine. And then I have scarlet runner beans. I've got two colors. It's kind of interesting. I've got the scarlet, and then that's the pink one. So it crossed with something or other from the seed supplier I got from it before. I mean, look at this. Like I said, if you take off your gardening glasses, as far as those who like pristine gardens, and just look at this from a environmental standpoint, just a wild, like if you walk through the prairie or something like that, that's what this has become. And it's kind of neat. You know, I've been trying to weed this for a long time, and it's a lot of work, as you guys know. Those are some seashell cosmos and some more dill. These are yard long beans. They're really behind. I gave them fertilizer, but they're really behind. And then that's dill I actually planted right behind it, and some chamomile. I got a lot of raspberries. And then my hops tunnel. This thing, I'm not sure I would call it invasive because it's not really spreading as far as the root structure. I'm probably going to get a glare trying to show you this thing because of where the sun's at. But look at this thing. So this guy's going to have to compete with the hops. I have been cutting the hops back though. And then the marshmallows and more elderberries. But yeah, so a garden doesn't have to be pristine if you're trying to create an ecosystem. That is one of the lessons I have learned this week, besides relearning that you have to pick your battles. And this area is not a battle that I'm willing to pick, so to speak, as far as trying to get all these weeds out of here. They're actually serving a good function. You know, my ground's not bare anymore, except for a spot where I did weed, because I'm actually going to be planting some stuff there. But the ground's not bare anymore, so it's retaining the moisture. The dirt's not getting baked, so it's retaining the nutrients. So, you know, I didn't spend buku bucks trying to put down landscaping fabric or mulch this year. The garden just provided its own covering. A lot less work for me. So, you know, you have to kind of appreciate things like that when they don't go exactly as you have planned, but maybe it's better than what you have planned. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed our little walk through my jungle forest of a garden and can kind of appreciate some of the things that I've learned and shared with you today, because it is a learning process. It is a journey, and that's what this channel is all about, is just learning things and adapting to things and just keep moving on down this path of life. Thank you for being with me here today. If you like the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. It really helps my channel out and shows me that you like the content, that it's valuable for you. And no matter what, I hope wherever you are, you're wonderfully blessed. So until next time, everybody, bye-bye.